Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Pull the Trigger on a Podcast, the podcast where you're willing to sacrifice your eyes for the greater good. Seems extreme. I'm Fire Princess Lily, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Doc Sea Monster. How you doing, Doc?
I'm good. Having a pretty laid back day, doing stuff, sorting magic cards, stuff.
Cool. For our listeners, they'll notice that there wasn't any kind of intro today, and that's because I'm getting tired of all our videos being blocked in Japan. Just sick of it. So, no intro. We'll try again with the next series, because I don't think the next series is quite as popular, but we'll find out.
Next is Witch.
No, I think next is a Space Luico. I think.
Okay. It's Troll Lulico. All right.
I think so. Let me take a look. But what have you been up to since we last talked? Actually, the next one is called "When Supernatural Battles Became Commonplace." So
one of the short ones. I think isn't that the one they did with Gynax?
I'm not sure, but it's only 12 episodes long.
Okay.
So
let's see. What have I been up to lately? I had 2 insomnia incidents.
oh, fun.
That's not fun. But that takes up a lot of time. You'd think being awake for 2 days at a time would let you get more stuff done. It does not work that way. It does not.
Does not.
Red beans and rice came out real nice.
Very cool.
As far as the Zine of My People, I haven't mastered gumbo yet, but I've got red beans and rice down.
I mean, gumbo's pretty chill.
But yeah, well, I love gumbo, and I know the family recipe. I just need to practice making roux. I practice with them roux. Let's see what else. Not a whole lot, listening to music, my online D&D games going. I'd meant to start watching some more anime just in my spare time, but I pretty much just brought up a list of ones to check out. And, stuff I'll hopefully look at in the next few weeks. What about you?
Oh, what have I been up to? Watching the world end. That's fun. Like, for all of our listeners out there who might be part of the LGBTQIA community, it's been a pretty fucking rough week. Like, it's been actually just a rough Pride Month. Like, this is June. This is supposed to be like a good fucking month for us. At least in retrospect, it has not been. First, you had J.K. Rowling decide that she just wanted to, like, go full mask off. And honestly, she's been mask off for a while, but she really just, like, crumpled up that mask and, like, torched it. So, there's that.
Like, the timing is kind of suspect, given that, important things are going on, but I'm not getting enough attention. I can stir up a lot of controversy with my bullshit.
Yeah.
And get attention detracted away from the important thing. That's kind of suspect.
It is a little bit.
I'm not saying conspiracy theory, but like it's the kind of bullshit that certain people are inclined to do.
She's been transphobic for a long while. Like.
Oh yeah, no, she's been be open about it for a while. It's like she was like low key kind of shitty earlier. Like, oh, I accidentally retweeted this thing, or like, oh, that's not what I meant. But like, she has just decided to go all in,
yeah,
over time.
So,
she had her choice between, upping and going all in, and she went all in.
Yeah, she could have just, sat around and enjoyed her money and not said shit. And people would have let her. Oh well.
That's not what that kind of person does.
I know.
Once you get to a certain level of like income and just like a certain amount of money that you own, you lose the ability to think rationally. It's like more than 75. It's like more than like 175K a year or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point where there's like you have more money than you could reasonably ever spend, and your ability to make logical decisions about things just stops.
Yeah. And then yesterday, on the anniversary of the Pulse shooting, of all things, Trump and his administration just decided to roll back all kinds of protections for LGBT people in healthcare. Just roll them all back. Just
He had a photo opportunity with Caitlyn Jenner in 2016. He's a friend to queer people, right?
yeah. I hope log cabin Republicans, that's the gay Republicans, all fucking choke on whatever dicks they're sucking and goddamn die. Fuck y'all. Y'all did this. Like, y'all fucking decided that, I don't know what the fuck, like, there were so many signs, but nope, put your head in the sand and don't listen to anybody who's fucking telling you, like, the fucking truth. Like, we told you all this was gonna happen. Told you, flat out, that he was gonna fucking do shit like this. But no. Did not believe us. And now where are we at? Where are we at? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bit you in the ass, didn't it? Fuck you. Sorry.
It's gonna be 20 years before we even try to get back on fucking track.
Alright. Anyway, now that we're done talking about important world stuff, what have I been up to other than watching the world? Fucking
For wrestling?
I did watch pro wrestling, but other than that, I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit. But I finished watching Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast Season 2. If you've not been watching Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast on Netflix, you are missing out on some beautiful animation and a really heartwarming story. Do that. So I'm not going to talk about what happens because it just came out. And I don't think you've watched it.
No, I've heard some pretty good things, but I haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's pretty good. So, I will say, no, I won't say anything. It's just really good. And I don't know how Season 2 is better than Season 1, but they did it. So, fucking hooray. But I did watch wrestling this week. And I've been watching a new anime too. Let's talk about that before I bore y'all with wrestling, because it's kind of on topic. I've been watching My Next Life as a Villainess. All routes lead to doom. It's an isekai because I like isekai. I like isekai a lot. And
there's nothing wrong with isekai. It's just there's just a lot of them,
yeah.
and there are something if the less percentage of it is done well.
Right.
It's the only problem with isekai as a genre. It's just kind of overdone, and the problem with being overdone is not that there's so many, it's that the more there are, the more bad ones.
Yeah. This one's pretty good. It's about a girl who got hit by a truck. Of course. But she wakes up in a world where she is the antagonist of a dating sim that she's played before, which is weird, but okay. And she recognizes that she has to change things before they happen, otherwise she'll either be exiled or she'll be murdered. One of the two, because she's the villainess. And she accidentally just makes every other character that should either be a rival or whatever fall in love with her. And that includes all the girl characters. And she is fucking dumb. She doesn't even realize that she's done that. And it's the best. She's a clueless, dumb, queer person. And I'm all for it. It's so good. Please watch. Um, so dumb. She's so dense. It's great. She doesn't recognize why the other characters aren't falling for each other like they're supposed to, like in the game. And that's because she's gone and done everything that they're supposed to do to get those tracks started. Because she just kind of accidentally trips into it. It's really good. My my wife and I finished season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender a million times. She hasn't seen it all the way through once. So we're making progress. It's taking a while, but we're making progress. She really doesn't like Azula at all. As a character, as a person, does not like Azula. And I get it. Azula's, the villain. She's rooting for our heroes, and she doesn't like Azula's like fucking attitude, and I get it. I totally get it. I like Azula's attitude. I love Azula. I think she's great.
Azula's great. Again, you don't have to like the person. It's a matter of if you like the character and the role they play in the story.
I don't think she dislikes the role that Azula plays. She just doesn't like Azula. And she doesn't know why Ty Lee and Mai hang out with her, like, at all. She doesn't get it. So she likes them. She just thinks that Azula's, a bitch.
It is.
I know. But yes, I did watch wrestling. So everybody who wants to just tune out for 10 minutes while I talk about the shit that's going on in AEW, by all means, you're free to do so. Let's talk about that women's division, or how there's kind of a lack of a women's division. This week on AEW, not only was there not a women's match on Dark, which I want to say is rare, but it's honestly not. It happens kind of frequently. Half of the Dark episodes do not have women's matches. But not only did a women's match not occur on Dark, the only women's match they had on AEW Dynamite, which is their show proper, was a randomly thrown together tag match between Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander on one team, and Nyla Rose and Penelope Ford on another team. And the only preface for this match is that they're all top contenders for the belt. Well, Hikaru Shida is the champion. Nyla was the champion. She's number 2 in the rankings. And you have Chris, who's number 3. And then Penelope, who's number 5, because number 4 is stuck in Japan. But that's the only reason to have this tag match, is these top contenders. And they have done it before. They've done this kind of match before. They're always doing this kind of match with the women's division. And they just need to do something with this division. They need to give it a storyline. They need to build it up somehow. They need to hire more women. They have hired more guy wrestlers since the pandemic started than they have women's wrestlers. I don't even know if they hired or signed Christy Janes, who won her. She was just a local talent that they brought in, but they had her wrestle a different local talent called a woman called Kylan King, and she beat Kylan King, so she has an actual win on her record as a local talent. And I don't know that they've signed her. They should. She's really good. They should sign Kylan King while they're at it. They need to sign at least one more woman. I'm begging them. I'm begging you. Sign another woman before you sign another man. And I know that the WWE releases look real juicy and good, because they signed FTR, which they used to be the Revival. They can't be the Revival because WWE owns the rights to the name the Revival, so now they're the Revolt. Fine. But they hired those guys before they hired another woman, and it's just they're not bad tag team wrestlers. Some people consider them the best tag team wrestling team on the planet, which I don't agree with that. I It's just a different style of tag team that I like. They're all about their tagline is no flips, all fists, meaning they don't do like high spots or like dives, etc. Whatever. They just like do old Southern wrestling, and it's like cool. That's great for some people. I don't dislike it. I wouldn't call that the best tag team wrestling on the planet. That's not I. Um, so I'm just saying, like your tag team division's already stacked. You have TH2 doing jobbing for you, like, and they shouldn't be. If they're really good, they should have some wins. But you've assigned them a jobber role, and they're fine with it. So fine, whatever. Like, it's a messed up world where Jack Evans does jobbing for you, and Jake Hager gets title matches one right after the other. It's fucked up. Sorry. Jake Hager sucks. And the weirdest thing that they're doing currently, is they're doing this storyline with QT Marshall and Allie. Allie is currently, she's a wrestler. She can wrestle, but they have her in some kind of weird valet role that I don't quite understand. And she's married to the Blade from The Butcher and the Blade, who is another tag team in AEW. But she's married to the Blade, but they're doing this weird story where she's like dating QT Marshall or just hanging around him and being real flirty, and I don't like it. It's so weird. And it's going to QT's head in the story, and he's not being a good tag team member to the Natural Nightmares, which is him and Dustin Rhodes. And like, it's odd. It doesn't feel good. I don't like it. So I hope they drop that or get a conclusion of some kind that leads to like the Blade beating the crap out of QT so that he can like get right, because it's also they keep calling his cutter the QT cutter. His whole deal is apples, and I think I've talked about this before on another podcast, but his whole deal is like he has apples. He comes out and he takes a bite of an apple and he tosses it. Like, call it the apple slicer. For pity's sake, call it something that makes sense. The QT cutter sucks. That sucks as a name. I hate it. Stop it. Just call it anything else. Call it the apple cutter, which would not be as good as the apple slicer, but hey, it makes sense to the character. He does a big splash called the Big Apple. Come on. Just fucking and he's using the cutter with the permission of Diamond Dallas Page as like a finisher. So you could still just call it the Diamond Cutter because it comes from Diamond Dallas Page. You don't have to rename it, but if you're going to, make it good. I don't know. Anyway,
irrelevant to the gimmick.
Yeah,
gimmick. What's the right word?
The gimmick's right.
Okay.
Yeah, his gimmick is apples. It's not a great gimmick, but it is kind of his motif. So make it happen. I think the other week Allie on commentary said it's called the Big Apple or something like that. Or it's called something with apple in it, and it's still bad. It's still bad. It's so bad they didn't even use it. They still called it the QT cutter this week. So okay. Yep, that's all. That's wrestling this week. I don't have any thing to talk about. I mean, somebody in WWE who was important got fired, but I don't watch them, so I don't care.
Oh, who?
Paul Heyman.
Really?
Yeah.
What did he do?
I don't know. They just let him go.
I know he's been with the company for a while, and he was the manager for Brock Lesnar. I don't know if Brock Lesnar's still there.
Brock Lesnar, I believe, is still there. Also, he was a part of creative, so.
Oh.
I don't know.
Who knows? It's a mystery. Okay. So, what's anything else going on for you?
Other than I discovered a role-playing game that I really want to play with people, but I can't get off the ground. No.
game?
It's called Eidolon, Become Your Best Self. It's a game that is inspired by JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and the Persona franchise. You play as a character who has a stand/persona called an Eidolon. And you go on adventures, both in the real world and in the Undertow, which is basically the metaverse.
You could try asking my group. They might be interested. They might buy it if you pitch it to them.
Yeah, but we're already doing a podcast on Monday, you and I, and then you're doing a game on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So your group's full up.
I suppose. Let's see. Talk about anime?
Yeah, let's talk about anime. The one we're supposed to talk about. This week we watched.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I just realized I need to throw out a sandwich.
You're throwing out a sandwich?
I went to Subway yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Actually, and they had a buy one get one free deal with if you use the app.
Yeah.
I used the app to order a ham sandwich and a tuna sandwich. I accidentally sent the order twice.
Oh.
And I did not know what to do for long sandwiches. I ate I ate 3 of them yesterday over the course of the whole day, but I don't know what to do with this last one.
You just eat it, or you put it in the fridge and wait till you're hungry again.
I don't. I live with my grandmother, and my grandmother keeps a lot of things in their fridge, and there's rarely room to put anything else in there.
Gotcha. Well, I guess you gotta throw it away. Suck.
Shame, because I really like tuna sandwiches, and I didn't need to spend the extra $8. Whatever.
All right. So this week we watched episode 6. Don't toy with me on a whim, and it is quite the episode.
Yep.
But let's get into it. We open on Mitsugi being freaked out by Ryuko, who is threatening him with her scissor blade, and she's real upset because she's like, "Are you in cahoots with the Mohawk man, the guy from last episode, whose name I've completely just out of my memory? Does not matter."
There you go.
And he's like, "No, totally not." And she's like, "Yeah, don't fucking lie to me. Here's a picture of you two at a bar. Like, you fucking dumbass. I'm not stupid." And he's like, no. She's like, "After I got attacked by the Mohawk guy, I asked Mataro to track him down. Because, of course, he'll do anything. He's a shitty younger brother." And we've watched Mataro actually get the information by giving away pictures of Ryuko that are questionable at best. They're not quite nudes, but one's an upskirt. It's not good. Don't like this kid.
Joe's so horny for Ryuko.
Everybody is, but that does the trick. It sure does. People just give up that he was hanging out in the bar with Mitsugi, and she's like, "It also explains why he brought me to your place, because you two are in cahoots. So I was at death's door, so tell me what your deal is." To which Mitsugi pulls back his glasses and his hair, and he's like, "But because of him, your bond between you and Senketsu is even stronger." And he's like, "His name is Kinase, and he's a member of the organization we're a part of. But as a result of a battle with him, you and Senketsu become true partners, so it's real good." And then we get, I don't know why this anime needs to do these things, but we're real close in on his nipples right now, and they're real drawn out there. And then they start to glow, and he gets real in close with Ryuko, uncomfortable, and she's like, "Yeah, cut all the crap, and you're just trying to justify what you did with all your bullshit." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I knew it. That bastard tried to kill Senketsu. Who are you people?" She's like, I thought you were fighting against the Kyurins. You didn't say a word that you needed to do it. I'm sorry. I woke up like 15 minutes ago. She's like, didn't you say you need Senketsu to help you with this fight? Why are you trying to like fucking kill him? What's the deal with those life fiber things? What was my dad researching? What is your shit, my guy? And he's like, don't be angry. He's like, once I'm convinced that there's someone I can trust, I'll tell you everything. And she's like, you know what? I'm tired of hearing that excuse. I'm gonna fucking beat your shit. And then we get the name of the organization, and he says it's so weird. I hate the way he says it. The organization is called Nudist Beach, but man, the way he puts an emphasis on it is just, it's not good. I don't like it. Am I alone in this?
I mean, it's a joke, it's a gag, but it's not really it's not really much to it. It's just being weird and overdramatic with it. I will say though, even though I don't have strong opinions on sub versus dub, the delivery is a little bit better in Japanese. It's kind of awkward in English. It doesn't quite. They're trying to match the lip flaps and stuff, so it's a little. It just doesn't do right.
It just sends a chill down my spine when he does it. Don't like it.
I think it's supposed to be weird and kind of creepy, but it's not really funny. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah. Absolutely. But Ryoko's like, what the fuck? Nudist Beach? He's like, yeah, Nudist Beach. Which, woof. Like this, there's something about this character that is just off-putting to me every time. Like, I think on my first watch through, I didn't mind him too much, but now that I'm watching through again, I'm like, this character, I do not like him. But he gets all sparkly as he's talking about Nudist Beach. And man, he just goes all in on this. Sorry. But Ryuko thinks he's like just fucking around with her. She's like, forget it. It was stupid of me to try to get a straight answer out of you. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. And she's like, I'm just gonna keep fighting. I'll get stronger on my own. And that's what you want anyway, right? So that's what I'm gonna go fucking do. And she leaves. And he's like, well, that really is our name. Oh, well, it worked out in the end. Ugh. This guy creeps me out.
But
anyway, we get the proper intro, and we cut in on a truck driving through the streets of the city. It's got the Hojin Academy mark on it, and it burrs equipment and stuff for the sewing club. Don't know why I said sewing. They take it up in an elevator with
sorry,
whatever that guy's name is, and they're like, why does she need so many life fibers? And the sewing club president's like, to make a lot of 2-star Goku uniforms to bolster our rank. Duh. She's like, because before oh wait, no, they're just gonna make Goku uniforms, but not the 2-star uniforms, because they need to prioritize quality of club presidents, or they have a risk of lowering the overall quality of their army. That's what Satsuki's worried about.
Yeah.
But she has decided to increase some of the number of the club presidents because Ryuko Matoi is putting her arrival has just set things in motion, more or less. And they're like, oh yeah, man, even that guy with the mohawk showed up yesterday. And Sasuke put on a convoy herself. Things are getting fucking nuts. So I guess we need to bolster our ranks. Like Inumura, who is the information guy, is like, I can't believe that there are 2 people in the world who can wear 100% life fiber uniforms. Like, that's fucking stupid and nuts and crazy. To which the other guy, whoever he is, decides, oh, I can't believe that there's something you can't believe. And And he's like, well, there's only one. It's only one unbelievable thing after another around here. So he's like, that's what makes the academy so fascinating. It's because there's so much crazy stuff. And the other guy, whoever he is, says, I came here because I like to be able to cut loose. I want to, be able to like fight and burn. And he's like, my toy is worthy of my full attention.
Can't just keep saying the other guy. He's the focus character of the episode.
I know, and I don't know his name.
Nagayama.
Whoever he is.
Just okay. I know the Elite Four because they're my favorite characters in the show.
That's fine. But he's like,
I like the entire cast, but like, I really like the Elite Four.
He's like, I want to go fight Matoi. I want to go fucking do that shit because I can. And the information guy, whose name I've already totally just misplaced out of my head, is like, hey,
I'm just gonna stop.
Huh?
It's gonna stop.
Their names are weird. Nanonon's the only one I can remember. Oh, and Gamagori. Those two? God. These other two have, like, too many syllables. I'm sorry. There's too many consonants in this man's name. I cannot do it. One's a dog, one's a monkey. So the monkey is the information guy. The dog's the fighty dude. I got it.
That is backwards.
Oh, that is backwards. The monkey's the fighting guy. Information, it's a dog. Anyway. Monkey Man has decided he's going to go fight Ryuko. Dog Boy says, hey, we're just supposed to, like, sit back and watch. And he's like, I didn't really get that memo, so I'm going to go do whatever the fuck I want to do. And eat shit. We cut to Genkets all hoisted up in a frame, like pinned down, and Satsuki in a shower. She's trying to relax because it is a lot to wear a kamui. It is just like draining as shit. And her butler's like, hey, try not to like overexert yourself. And she's like, this is the path I've chosen, so I'm going to do whatever I want. She's like, but thank you for the tea. This tea is great. I fucking love tea. And she's like, don't think you've snuck up behind me, monkey guy. His name is what? Sagayama? Sagayama. Right. Did I say that right?
Anyway, moving on.
I'm trying over here. But she's like, I hope you didn't think that you fucking snuck up on me. And he's like, oh, no, not at all, I'm not done with that. It's like, if I had the slightest intent of attacking, you could easily just kill me with that teacup. And she's like, true. She's like, so what do you want then? He's like, let me fight Matoi. She's like, why? He's like, because I fucking want to. He's like, she looks powerful, and when I see somebody powerful, I've got to fight him. And she's like, just like 3 years ago, huh? And we get a flashback that is in sepia. And Satsuki is already building like her following. She has 3 of the Elite Four members, and the last Elite Four member, which is Sangiyama, whatever. Uzu. His first name is Uzu. I can remember that. Uzu. Okay. Since I am driving you nuts.
It's fine. It's just like I'm not going to ice skate uphill.
Uzu is like sitting in front of 500 other people. This is, I guess, where she's taking over the Kanto area. Like it's a flashback. Yes. But the other the other 3 Elite Four members, dog guy, whose name I can't remember. What's his first name? Is it easier than whatever his last name is?
Okay, now I don't remember.
So he's like, this will...
First name is Hoka.
Hoga?
Yeah.
with an H.
Hoka.
Shoke?
Hoka. Hoka.
Hoka. Okay. Hoka. See, that's got that. Hoka's like, this will decide if Satsuki is really, qualified to lead us or not, because they're just gonna let her fight 500 guys, which she can do, but whatever. But Nananon's like, I suggest you start practicing bowing then, because she's been, of course, with Satsuki the longest, and she fucking knows.
Yeah.
But Uzu, who is the Northern Kanto gang leader, he's a third-year middle school. He's like, you got guts picking a fight with me? And she's like, I have no intention of fighting. I'm telling you to surrender. To which a bunch of Pompadours try to attack her, and she knocks them all back with a hard stare. And Uzu's like, that's real impressive, but that shit don't work on me. And he goes in for an attack. And it's a really interesting scene, but Satsuki takes him out with one shot. Just straight to the gut. Because he thought he had her from behind. It's really good.
Straight up, no.
Straight up noped him. He's like, come on. You can follow me now. I'll provide you with the ultimate stage to unleash your strength. And that is how these two met. It's pretty neat. But we cut back to the present, and he's like, my bamboo sword just needs to test out the skills on my skills on this girl. I need to fight her. Need to. And she's like, you know the price of failure, right? And he's like, don't worry. I have these eyes, and it's impossible to lose. She breaks her teacup and attacks at him, which he blocks with his bamboo sword. He's like, I could win a fight against your middle school self now. After she says, nice block. He's like, I assumed you were holding back from the way you moved back then. And she's like, fine, you know what? Whatever you want to do, go for it. We'll see how this turns out for you. And he's like, yes, finally, thank you. He's like, if I win, treat me to some tea or something. And so she apologizes to the butler because she broke a cup with the tea. And he's like, no, the real problem here is that was your favorite cup that you broke. And that's real sad. She's like, make a fresh pot of tea for me. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. I know what I know about the character from watching this previous episode. I like from watching this show before. I like her not only as a character, but as who she'll become. But it's moments like these where I'm like, man, you're kind of a bitch. Just a little bit. You broke a teacup, and then demanded your butler make you a fresh pot. And he would have done it no matter what, because he really is attentive and whatever. But it's just like, woof, just ask for a new cup. You just got that tea, it'd be fine.
Yeah. Let's see. And then she gets a phone call.
She does get a phone call.
Well, I want to do a quick diversion.
Okay.
I really love the flashback scene. This is actually the first one we're going to get.
Yep.
Later on, we'll get one for each of the Elite Four. But it really gives some interesting insight into both Uzu and Satsuki. I want to point something out. The moment that she hits him in the flashback, we've got what I think is the first appearance of the song Blumenkranz, which is the theme music for the Kiryuans. It isn't actually used for Satsuki very often. It's kind of used as a leitmotif here.
Right.
Only to come back full force, the phone call and the first appearance of
Her mom.
Agyo. Agyo Kiryuin, who is the worst.
Ragyo is the worst. We do not appreciate her on this podcast, or at least I don't. She sucks.
Uh,
Like she's a powerful antagonist, but
the good antagonist
there are
for the
things
show.
she does that is like it is over the top that they didn't necessarily need to do with her to make her a good antagonist.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll talk about that later, dear listener.
She has enough of a resume. Certain things she did not need to do.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we'll talk about that later, dear listener. It's bad. It's all bad. Anyway, the butler hands the phone over to Satsuki, and we get to see her mom. And she's like, "What the fuck? What is this I'm hearing about you putting on the Camry? What?" And what's really crazy about Ragyo, in my opinion, is that everything around her is like shiny and rainbow. Like even the underlights of her hair, it's all rainbow. It's like she has the craziest design in this show, I feel like.
I have an opinion on why. I know it's a stylistic choice to have the rainbow thing, but I have an opinion on why, which we can get into later.
Okay. We cut to the morning, and we on a sign that says "Challenge to a duel. Attention, Ryuko Motoi of the second year Class K. I'll be waiting in the Kendo Club dojo after school. Uzu." Because I cannot do that guy's name. Sorry. But at least I'm not saying that guy. Whoever he is.
Uzu's fine. You can use their first names. They're fictional characters. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So we cut immediately to the gym after school. And a big crowd, including the rest of the Elite Four, is standing in attendance. Well, they're sitting in attendance. It's weird. Nanonon's pissed because she's like, "God damn it, if I had known that I could have just asked to fight Ryuko, I would have done that. He beat me to the punch. I'm upset." Because that's kind of her character, is she's a little bratty.
Yeah.
And Hoka is like, "Where is Lady Satsuki anyway?" And Gamagori's like, she had to step out. She said this battle was not worth watching. And I was like, "What's that mean?" To which we cut to Uzu being like, "Oh man, you came, Ryuko." He's like, "Yeah, I was called out by one of the Elite Four. I can't just run away." He's like, "I like your spirit. Let's get right to it." And he cuts straight to his transformation, which is way bigger than any of the 2-star transformations we've seen before, because he's got 3 stars, of course.
And so Senegama has his own transformation sequence, which we'll actually get for all of Elite Four. And his uniform turns into a big fuck off mech suit, and I really love it.
Oh yeah, I love his suit. He gets an entirely second suit later, but I think he might even get a third suit, if I'm remembering correctly.
Probably shouldn't get into that for now.
Yeah, but he's in a big fuck off mech with guns and everything. And she's like, "Wow, that's an impressive transformation. I'm just gonna do the same." Which we get Ryuko's transformation scene, which, as we've mentioned previously, when it comes to like the different level of star uniforms, when they transform, we get the certain number of stars that are assigned to those uniforms. Like Uzu's transformation uses 3 stars instead of 2. And as mentioned, Ryuko just has like a full star field because she's using 100% life fibers in a Camway.
Yeah, and I think that's really it's not something that like is ever like touched upon, but it is a good detail.
It is a good detail. Ryuko goes in right for the attack. She thinks she's got him, but it turns out it was just an after image. Because he is fast as fuck. And so Ryuko tries her best to like get at him, but he is dodging everything she's got, and he starts beating on her with kendo sticks. Because of course. And he's like, I can see all of your moves. And so she's like, okay, I'm going to go fucking full speed now. So she starts doing after images of her own, to which does not quite work because he just matches her speed and starts hitting her on the head. It's a pretty good gag. It's like, behold my secret weapon. And it's just a bunch of eyes on his suit that allow him to see all around him. And she's like, what? He's like, for every human motion, there is, you know, whatever. I miss what he says. But he's like, he talks about how he can see all human motions because the way that his eyes are trained, you know, the muscles of his eyes are so trained that he can keep up with whatever speed. It does not matter.
Yeah. Basically, he's got, like, perfect perception.
Yeah.
His eyes.
Uzu instantly reads all of those preparatory motions. Like, any, like, little motion you make, he can see it, and that's how he, like, determines what you're going to do. More or less. I think I've got that right. Yep. While they're talking about this, they are just, like, full in on Ryoko's, like, outfit and, like, all the little hip movements she makes. Like, it's weird.
The show's a little horny.
It's way horny on me. Like, so his eyes are real good, and so his suit just makes his eyes even stronger. So that's his secret. That's his secret, Cap. His eyes are always open. Sorry. But the Elite Four are like kind of talking among themselves, and Gamagori's like, huh, I guess this is what Satsuki mean by this wasn't even worth watching. And Hoka's like, that's not how I heard it. So Ryoko's doing her best to just block and try to keep together. And she's like, I'd like to do more, but all I can do is just kind of block right now. To which his mech suit turns his hands into long kendo sticks on the fingers. He just pulls out a bunch of kendo sticks, one for each finger, and he starts spinning them around on his hands, which is crazy. Honestly,
It's trigger. You gotta have a spinning attack.
You do have to have a spinning attack, and he just goes all nuts in on these kendo attacks, and she can't even block at this point. He's like, even if your scissor blade can cut through Goku uniform, can't do anything if all you can do is block and dodge, so I want to take this fight. He's like, is this fight over already? As she's laying on the ground. He's like, that's disappointing, don't you think? So she gets back up, he's like, yeah, that's what I like, that's what I want. And she's like, Senketsu, I need you to do me a favor. And she whispers something that we don't see in the subtitles, so it's only something that Senketsu can hear. And Senketsu's like, I get it. We're going to bet it all on a single roll of the dice, huh? And Uzu goes in for another spin attack, which causes Ryuko to cut off a piece of her own Kamui, which is the plan. And it splits into a bunch of different pieces, which cover up Uzu's eyes.
Cover up all his eye holes.
All his eye holes, and she goes right in for the kill. Boom. Taking his life fiber, whole thing. And Senketsu repairs itself, and the rest of the Elite Four are like, damn, he lost. Well, and Hoka's like, yep, that's what Lady Satsuki meant by this wouldn't be worth watching. Is that guy's a loser. And Mako's like, oh my god, Ryuko, you did it. You beat one of the Elite Four already. That's amazing. You were so
One of
fast and
two,
awesome.
one of Mako's 2 lines of the entire episode.
She doesn't get a big showing one, does she, this time? But it was just like, it's not over. I can still fight. Come on. He's like just naked and has got his kendo stick. And this causes Gamagori to attack him with his whips and say, "You are pathetic. You have disgraced the entire Elite Four with your actions." To which we cut to Masugi saying, "One who relies overly on a strong skill will be brought down by that very same skill, huh?" But we cut to the Mako's household, and she is ironing Senketsu, and he's like, "Oh, this is the best. I fucking love it." It's like, I just feel all the wrinkles melt away by one. And she's like, "I'm glad that my blind plan worked." And he's like, "Being cut sucked, but hey, you know what? It worked. We wouldn't have won if you hadn't done it, so don't worry about it. And I wouldn't be enjoying this ironing if we hadn't won, so, it's all good. Make sure you get behind my lapels. It's really good." And of course the family cannot hear Sanketsu, so they're like, "Man, she's talking to her uniform again." And Mako's like, "Yeah, it's cool, whatever." We cut to the sewing club guy, and it's like, "Hey, who's there?" And it's Uzu. He's like, I have a favor to ask you." And we cut to a helipad where Sasuke is getting back from seeing her mother, and the butler's like, "So how was your mother's mood?" And she's like, "Don't worry. I explained to her why I took Genkets. You don't need to worry." And they are greeted by, of course, Uzu on the platform, and she's like, "I don't have any time for losers, dude. Get out of my way." He's like, "I was overconfident in my eyesight. Give me another chance. I will defeat her for certain next time." And she's like, "This is pathetic." She's like, "I don't need subordinates who lack resolve." And he's like, "But I have resolve. I've got it. Here's the proof." And he looks up at her. We don't see what he's done, but she likes what he's done. She's like, "Oh." So he's going to get another shot at Ryuko. We cut to a kendo stick behind Ryuko with a paper that says challenge on it. So obviously is another challenge. We cut right to the academy, and instead of being in the kendo club, he's just sort of in front of the school. In a kind of weird arena of sorts. I don't know. And
Spiky rock.
yeah,
Weird.
it's the spiky rock thing's weird. And it's all red, like people have been like beaten on it, and it looks bad. It's weird. I do like the way the clouds look, though. Anyway, she's like giving somebody who got beat a second chance. You're going soft, Satsuki. And she's like, "Tell me again after the fight how soft I am." So which Ryuko's like, "Okay, I'm going to beat his ass." So Uzu's like, "Watch closely what happens when you force a man to change." He transforms again. Another 3-star transformation. He's in a new suit. It looks...
It's distinctly less bulky than his original. This is the Blade Regalia Mark II.
Yeah, it is. It is. I was just about to say, it does look different. It also doesn't have the kendo stick cannons on the
It doesn't have the cannons on the back.
Are the cannons on the back?
Shoulders, whatever.
We get another quick Ryuko transformation, all sped up. And Ryuko immediately goes right to cutting Senketsu to cover all the eyes, of course, where the eyes were before. So I've covered every eye you got. Now you can't use your special eye ability. And he immediately stops her with a kendo stick attack as she tries to attack him from the back, which sends her going all the way across the battlefield. And we finally cut in on his suit to see what he's been hiding behind his hair in the shadows. He's had his eyes either removed or sewn shut. It's weird. It's weird.
Shut. Yeah.
It's weird how they've done it. Because it's a star.
Motherfucker gets his. Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Motherfucker gets his eyes sewn shut so he can get better at fighting. I love it.
Yeah. His eyes are like sewn in a they're sewn in like a star pattern. And we cut to a scene of him asking Lori, the sewing club person, to do this. And they're like, but if you did that, you'd lose your cool eye power. That's not good. And he's like, that's all right. I was overconfident in that, and it made me lose, so I need to do something different. He's like, unless my eyes are sewn shut, I will not be able to beat Ryuko. Then we cut right to Sasuke, who's like, this is the resolve of a man who has realized the error of his ways and sacrificed everything because she has to be over the top. She's like, know that as you face him. It's really... Or was how he's like, here I come. And his suit looks less bulky, but they've now, because that Ryuko's back into a corner, they've drawn it in such a way that it's big and hulking again. And like way bigger than she is.
It was still huge, it's just less like clunky.
Yeah. And so we go to a fight. And Ryuko is doing everything she can just to kind of block his attacks. And at this point, he's pretty strong. He's strong enough to actually push her back. And he's like, I know exactly how you're moving, because even without my eyes, because I can hear how you're moving. I can smell how you're moving. Because he doesn't have his eyesight anymore. And so now all his other senses are super heightened. And we get a cool black and white scene explaining that without his vision, he's now so focused he can see everything about the world way better than he could ever see with his special eyes. Sasuke names it Shinganetsu. I've totally butchered that, but it's the eye of the mind. And Uzu has opened it. He was like, sealing his eyes shut boosted his affinity with his Goku uniform. And so he is just attacking Ryuko and like knocking her all over. And we're listening to Sasuke explain that the Goku uniform is now Uzu's eyes, his nose, his ears. All of his senses are heightened because of it. He's like, he got this new special eye power that is way better than his old eye power. He's like, nobody can evade his attacks.
It's great.
It's pretty great. And so we're just going to get more scene of him just batting Ryuko up and down one of those spiky pillars and knocking her all the way to the front of the school. Okay, well, it looked like the front of the school, but never mind. She got just knocked to the center of whatever this weird ring is, which sends her scissor blade flying. And he's like, you've got no tricks that can stop me this time. She's like, you'd think so, huh? But she's tied a thread to her scissor blade in order to whip it around, which she's, done stuff like that before in the past to great effect. Does not work this time. She cuts through another after image, and he's like, I told you, I could see the entire world. Do you think your pathetic little trick would work? And he goes right back to kicking her ass. We get the same 3 attack scenes repeated over and over in rapid succession until finally he strikes her so hard she just is put into the ground.
Oh yeah, he kicks her ass.
He kicks her ass bad. And he's like, it's over. He's going to go for a final strike before his Goku uniform transforms back. And the sewing club president's like, your Goku uniform, it overheated, which is good for Ryuko, because she manages to get away during the confusion. And he feels bad, but Sasuke's like, hey, there's no need for you to be ashamed. That's just a result of your power outstripping that of the Goku uniform. You did really fucking good, my dude. To which he's like, yes, ma'am. But he still feels bad because he wanted to, finish the fight. Ryuko is just like hiding out in the city, and Sandcastle's like, you got fucking lucky. And she's like, yeah, I did. I guess the Elite Four aren't all just for show. That dude was seriously tough, but I can't run away from this. She's like, I have to learn the secret behind my dad's death. Which is still the plot, in case anybody forgot that was the plot. You'd be forgiven if you forgot, honestly. We cut to Uzu practicing with his Goku uniform. And Lori says
that he's restitched it.
That's right.
He's modified it.
He's like, I swapped out the life. Yeah, he's like, I swapped out the life fibers in your Goku uniform and restitched it. It should be able to keep up with you now. Like, so he's already improved it again, which is bad for Ryuko. We cut to Satsuki drinking tea. And she's like, you think you snuck up behind me, Uzu? But he's in front of her. And he's like, front and behind me, nothing even now. And now he has a cool Ninja Turtle mask. That's what this is.
He have that great Ninja Turtle mask.
It's really great. He's like, thanks to my eyes being so shut, I can now sense the world entirely. Front and back mean nothing. He's like, I only came over here to thank you for giving me a fresh start. And then he walks away. And she's like, wait. She's like, we had an agreement. Let's have tea. Because he won. He's like, yeah, thanks, but I'll pass. Continues to walk away. And that's how this episode ends. It's him saying, my other senses have become so heightened that my tongue is sensitive to heat now.
All the senses are heightened. He's got all Daredevil.
He's got Daredevil. And that's the episode. That's how it ends.
Overall, great episode. I really like the Elite Four's interactions with Ryuko and each other. It's one of the most engaging parts of the series. I do like that we get kind of more and more of their personality as we go along.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So at this point in the series is when things are really started ramping up. The plot's definitely getting in motion, and there are no more Monster of the Week episodes. The episode after this is focused on Mako, so it's a little bit more comedic. But after that, it's all plot. It is all plot.
Oh yeah, next week is it's not necessarily Monster of the Week, but Mako's the monster next week. So that'll be fun. You were gonna say something about Raggio's rainbow motif? Or did you want to save that for when she's more prominent?
Save that for later because spoilers.
Gotcha. Roger.
Raggio is I don't want to say she's great because I don't like her as an antagonist. She's a great villain as part of the show, but man, is she the worst person in the world. She's a great villain, and she's completely and thoroughly evil in all respects. She is the worst anime parent.
She is. Nope, you're right. Totally is. Like, I was gonna say, What about Shinji's dad and Ava? But no, absolutely.
Okay, so Gendo Ikari, years of emotional manipulation and neglect and abuse, child's play.
Yeah,
Show Tucker, unethical experimentation on your children.
pretty bad.
Amateur hour.
Amateur hour.
It goes worse.
Ragyo
And we
is
will
worse, and we will get into it. But I think that's all we have to talk about this week.
I think so. There's not much else to touch on the episode. It's just really just a lot of fun. It's got interesting kind of dramatic and plot scenes, pretty good action scenes. It's just a really good show. Kill la Kill is really good. I don't mind that I'm watching it for like the 5th time.
It's a pretty good show.
That's the only reason I have all the characters' names down is because I have watched it like 5 times.
Fair. So, Doc, where can people find you if they want to like talk to you about this and other stuff?
I am on Twitter way too much. I'm at Dr. C Monster. That is at DRC Monster. You can see me try and pick fights with libertarians.
You mean Republicans that just want to smoke weed?
I love libertarians. I've known some libertarians who are cool people, and there are left libertarians who are, again, decent people. But like the right leaning libertarians are cognitive dissonance of humans are basically bad. They should be left alone. Only if everyone has guns. It's a weird network of like illogical assumptions, and the kaleidoscope of dumb.
My interactions with libertarians have only led me to believe that they're just racist Republicans who want to smoke weed.
It is the most of them, yes.
Then you mean, am I wrong? No.
There's also the age is just a number ones.
Oh, but though I mean that's a lot of Republicans too. Anything else you want to plug?
Not really. All my other creative projects are kind of on hold. We haven't recorded for the Librarian of Alexandria for a while.
Oh well. You can find me as always on Twitter at DatFirePrincess, spelled DAT. You can find me online doing numerous podcasts. I keep trying to get other podcasts going, but life is what life is right now. It's not good. So just be on the lookout for other stuff that I'm doing.
Don't you have a Gravity Falls podcast?
I do have a Gravity Falls podcast called Pining for the Falls, which I do here with Dr. C Monster. So if you like if you like this, and you like Gravity Falls, maybe give that a listen. Because it's basically just this, but for Gravity Falls. But I think that's all I have to plug. Just like with no intro because of copyright strikes, no outro either because, once again, I'd like for somebody maybe in Japan to hear this if they wanted to. And right now they can't hear the other episodes. So this will be fun for them to jump in on. The sound of the dogs means it's time to go. So until next time, don't lose your way.
Don't lose your way!
Bye.